Welcome back. Here right now with Jeep Sullivan. We're out here at Gap Pond in Washington County, Florida, part of Northwest Florida that's pristine, unspoiled, and evidenced by what we see here today. Jeep, you are the proprietor, the owner, the CEO and president of Jeep Sullivan's Outdoor Adventures, Inc. You've got you got the best job in the world to start with, but let's talk a little bit about your mission and the reason that you started this business. I know a little bit. We're sitting right now on a very nice airboat, so obviously you spend a lot of time outside. But what really intrigues us is the fact that you put a lot of time into working with what we call wounded warriors, folks returning from our various conflicts, going back to World War II in some cases. Obviously, so some of those guys still around, and giving back to that community, and in many cases to people that have been maybe not treated as well as they should have. Let's start at the beginning. How did you come up with this idea, and talk a little bit about your business and how you got started?
Well, I would say the business is not my idea. I think God put it on my heart a long time ago to have some sort of ministry in the outdoors, some kind of business in outdoors where I was I guess problem child when I grew up, and I got into trouble, drugs and just all kind of stuff, and I should have went in the military and didn't. Thought about it, didn't go do it, and ever since then, as a young man growing up, and I'm 50 now, doesn't seem, it just time flies, but as the older I get, I understand and I see the benefits. I see just all the time and effort that goes into keeping this great country safe and protected, and other places that don't have freedom like we have, but man, they want freedom just like we do. And our guys and our girls that go and do, this is just a small thing that I can do for them when they come back. Some of them, have been hurt. Some of them, like you said, wounded warriors. The old veterans. I've had wounded World War II veterans on the boat with me and out in the turkey blind and sitting in deer stands and different things, and just trying to give back to them like they gave. Some, like the old saying, all gave some gave all. And so I'm just trying to, in the business part of it, just trying to give back to them. I formed a 501c3 company, and I've had people give to, from $50 to thousands of dollars, just wanting to help and try to see these guys and girls have some fulfillment when doesn't look very good for them, and it doesn't cost them a dime if I do something with them. It doesn't cost them anything. I do airboat rides and tours, trying to make a little money, pay for the gasoline and oil to keep it running, and just a great opportunity to minister and do the things that I've done all my life. I love the woods. I've been in the woods and on the water all my life, and I love it. So I guess that's basically how it started, just out of a yearning to do something, to give back and do something for those that have done for us for years and years and years.
Well, you've been an outdoorsman your whole life, as you point out, but you're also an associate pastor of a Baptist church in nearby Bonifay, Florida. So when you point out the ministry part of it, it's a natural fit, it's a natural progression. World War II and even Korea to some extent were noble wars, and those returning people, veterans, were welcomed with open arms. Not so much Vietnam and some of those conflicts. Soldiers were spit upon when they got off the planes in some cases, and from that very time setting foot back on U.S. soil, in many cases not getting a fair shake. There's a lot. This is not a political show, but there are a lot of issues with the Veterans Administration and what have you. In your relatively small way, but with lots of impact, this is your way to let those guys and girls know that somebody cares. Yeah. And there seems to be more of an awareness for veterans. That luckily that does seem to be on the upswing. Yeah. There does seem to be somewhat more of an uptick in that sentiment, which is really good. I don't know that there'll ever be enough, but everybody does their part. In your case, you like to work with some of those people that have infirmities as a result of the conflicts in which they served. Talk a little bit about maybe one or two of your favorite adventures that you've enjoyed with some of these guys.
Well, I have my boat set up where I have a ramp, flatbed on the front, and a ramp, aluminum ramp that I can put handicap, from veterans to anybody that has any, impaired, being able to physical getting around anyway, that we can put them on here and tie them on and them, be able to get on here. I've got one guy in particular that turkey hunted and deer hunted and hog hunted, had him on here. We fished and alligator hunted, and him sitting up here in front of me in a wheelchair. And it's just neat to see them, have some pleasure and, there's not in a bragging way of any way. I mean, not, patting Jeep Sullivan Outdoors on the back, but just being able to see those guys that normally, this one individual told me, that I've had a lot of people tell me they'll do something and then not fulfill what they said. And I think, to me, that's something that we've got to get back to in America is, doing that kind of thing. When you say something, handshake, so to speak, I'm there. And, and then Glenn Hess, our state's attorney, his son Carter, he lost his leg last year in Afghanistan on IED and was able to take him turkey hunting this past spring, and he killed his first turkey, sitting with him, and just, to get to see the joy in his, in his eyes, and then, just his demeanor after all that happened. The turkey he shot didn't kill it all the way, and had to go out and chase the turkey a little bit, and it was funny, and just real enjoyable to watch him and to hear him. At the end, I run the turkey down and caught him, and I couldn't have ever done that, and just laughing and having a great time, just making them maybe forget some of the pain, some of the the stuff that they've been through, and they'll never forget it, but just being able to maybe replace it for a few moments for a little while is a great feeling.
You mentioned the fact that people have come to the table with donations, that people have inquired how can they get involved, and have been very willing to give to help you with this effort. I experienced that firsthand just yesterday. Happened to see you pull over in a gas station to get gas, and as I walked up, a man was walking away, and you shared with me that once it was somebody you knew, but once he found out what you were doing and this project you've got going on, he handed you some cash. Well, that's strong.
Yeah, it is, and just about every place you go with it, and you explain what you're doing. I mean, just like myself, some of them never got to go in the military. Some of them have been in the military, and they got something in their pocket, and they hand it, say, here, buy some gas, or buy some cold drinks, or do whatever. People are going to give. They're generous. That's what this country was founded on, and the good of this country is still here. We just got to get back to the basics, and get back to God, get back to the family, get back to the stuff that really matters in America again. And I think this little ministry, this little business that I feel like God started, I feel like that it'll be a great opportunity to show God's great outdoors, and just be able to help us remember that's what it's out here for us to stop, slow down a little bit, and whether you schedule it or don't schedule it, just take time, like they were saying, smell the roses, or get out here and smell the sawgrass, or look at it and just take time.
And what a perfect setting for you to be doing what it is that you're doing. Here in Northwest Florida, we enjoy such a wide variety of pristine natural resources. Right now, on a freshwater lake here, surrounded by cypress trees, and as you point out, sawgrass, and frogs and snakes and gators jumping around us. Right now, in the middle of a bass fishing tournament here today. Some pretty good-sized fish in here have been caught over time. And this is just one small speck of what we enjoy here. I know that you do lots of different activities. As it pertains to the airboat to start, what are some of the activities that you may take some of these guys on?
I do alligator hunts. We do bow fishing, gigging, fish gigging, frog gigging, airboat, tours and rides. Just about anything on the boat. The boat's 16-foot Heartline. It's a deep water hull, but it's the bottom's got 1/2-inch marine grade polymer on the sides and the bottom, and I got a almost 500 horsepower small block Chevrolet sitting on the back, and it'll run on dry ground. And it, like the old saying, the old airboat guys, I grew up down central South Florida, and they said, if you're going to have an airboat, if it won't run dry ground, you should have bought a bass boat. So that's kind of, I wanted a boat that I could just, show people what a boat will do, and go up and run on dry ground and then dump it back out in the salt water, deep, 2 or 3 foot swells, and it's sturdy and buoyant, and just a great time, because as a captain on the boat, you're always looking for the things that are going to impede what you're trying to do, but you're always looking for an opportunity to kind of show out what the boat will do and have some fun, because a lot of people up here in northwest Florida and Alabama and Georgia, around the tri-state area, have never been on an airboat. They've never seen one, up close. So the gas station thing, like you said yesterday, every time I get gasoline, I stop and have to put a bunch of gas in this thing. Everybody, they just, anybody that's outdoorsman wants to come up, or even outdoors woman wants to come up and look at the boat and kind of, see the shiny stuff on it and want to know what do you do, and being able to say, frog gigging, alligator hunting, that the swamp people have kind of brought that to the limelight now. But, growing up in Florida and being in the outdoors all my life, and, there's so many people in Florida that have done that and been around that all their lives, and it's just part of our life and part of the way we were brought up. And bringing it to TV like they did, it really kind of shed some light on really the great possibilities that we have in the great state of Florida.
Well, being an outdoorsman, obviously you like to hunt and fish and all the rest of it, but part of being an outdoorsman is just a reverence for those outdoors and natural resources that we enjoy. And those who are against hunting, against killing animals, don't realize that most hunters, and obviously there are exceptions to every rule, but most hunters are very conscientious in the way that they hunt and fish, and as far as conservation and respecting species that are maybe endangered. But again, part of that outdoors experience is just enjoying the outdoors, right. And like we are today, just riding on this beautiful lake. So I would imagine that if you've got somebody who wants to hunt or fish or gig or what have you, they have that ability. But there's got to be some of them that just love the wind blowing through their hair.
That's right. But it's just like a few moments ago, we're sitting here and an osprey come by, carrying a big stick, with some moss hanging off of it, and flew across the lake. Now, if you can't stop and look at that and just, see the wonder and just the awesomeness of being outdoors, to myself, something's wrong with you. And that's the kind of stuff. I was down at Jolly, down by Live Oak Landing, down by Freeport a couple weeks ago, and had a couple guys I was riding, and a bald eagle, flew by, went over in a little head and lit in a tree way up in the top of a pine tree, and we just kind of eased over to it. You don't get to see that very often. And just any kind of bird, from a hummingbird to a bald eagle, and in the United States, is amazing to me to watch feathers do the way I duck hunt and turkey hunt, anything, stuff like that. But being able to see, all the different things, the alligators, the different frogs you see, the fish, just the deer right here on this same pond back in duck season. Just over here to our left, I had a doe laying out on one of these little pods of grass. The water was down, and we rode up, and we just stopped, and we're sitting there, and she jumped up and had 2 fawns with her, and they had to swim out of the pond. There was a little water hole, and they ran out and got on dry land. And those are the kind of times you just have to stop and say, man, that's what we're here for. to stop and realize that, this world doesn't center around me.